Hello, everybody. Welcome to Awaken Positive Power, where myself, Jemima Godsall, and my co-host, beautiful Darcy Marta. Hello, Darcy.
Hello, Jemima.
We come each week to talk to you about mental health issues. I'm also an ambassador for Theraexpressions Meditation in Casper, Wyoming, where they too see mental health matters. As I said, we bring different topics each week, and this week we decided to talk about compromise within relationships and how that can be a struggle. What level of compromise do we bring into relationships? Big topic. Just before we do get started, there is a disclaimer down below, and also more importantly, there is 1-800 numbers for international people, not in America where I am, but in America there's a new national mental health number, 988. It's fantastic, easy number to remember. Yeah, if you or anyone you know needs help, or yourself know of someone, just if anyone needs help, please make sure you know you are never alone. All right, Das. Hi. Compromise.
Hi. Compromise. Yes. Ooh, it's such a tricky word, compromise. Yeah.
I'll just say why I wanted to talk about it, and then you can bring your wonderful 2 cents in. Well, okay. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? My God. It's an old clue. Yeah, I'm just thinking when one has a boundary and they don't want it to be crossed, because nothing. This is not too. Let's not go too big a meaning behind, like too deeper. Boundary, simple boundary, just to make it a simple conversation. But it keeps getting crossed because the other one doesn't really match it. I don't think I want to compromise with that, because my boundary is solid and it means something's important to me, and I stand by it. And it's not that big a deal, not too big a deal. So where do we compromise, and how? And then it causes a tiff every time it happens. It causes a rift between us, and that hurts our mental health. And I struggle. It triggers me into, actually it does way more than that. It triggers me into my past baggage, which is why I created the boundary.
Right.
So why do I have to compromise? I shouldn't. But on the other hand, the same person thinks the same. So what say you to how you work that out? Because compromise, I don't think is, I will not. I'm sorry, I did that. So that's why it got me into trouble in the past. I compromised with, and I got damaged for 14 years.
Right.
So help. Yes.
Well, not knowing the situation, I have to say that you can't have compromise without communication. So you really need to sit down and hash it out, really discuss it. I mean, if something is truly that important to you,
right,
you're creating a boundary and it is distressing for you, that's something that your partner or your friend needs to hear.
Yeah.
And that's even more important than whatever the issue is itself, So if your issue is, I can't have loud noises after 5 o'clock or I lose my mind, right? And the other person says, but that's when I like to exercise with loud music. You guys are going to have to come together to discuss it and discuss why this is important, why that's important, and find an alternative for that life situation. All right.
Okay. Let me tell you the situation then.
Mm-hmm.
It's about getting on the phone as a distraction when we're together. And I understand, I know I'm pretty uptight about this, and I know there's unusual because the phone's such an inclusive thing with the universe now, but I still think that when we're with each other, we should be with each other. Anybody, you and I, my other friend, my mum, etc. And there's no reason for us to just excuse ourselves on this. Like, why? I mean, we didn't do that in the past. And then, of course, there's something emergent. Of course, I get it. There's obviously things where, but then just say I've got an emergency, or I'm waiting for this call, or that sort of thing. But to just pick it up and I think, well, hello, am I that boring? And I know that I went through 14 years of that, where there was a lot of distraction, and it's disturbed me. It disturbs me, and it triggers me big time. And so we have discussed it, and it's kind of forgotten a lot. I always say, look, and then when I bring it up again, I say, just put your phone down. And then he gets upset that I go off again, and I say, well, don't do it, and I won't go off again. And I say it's a boundary that I don't want to give up, because I know that it was something that really affected me, and it's a struggle. I know. Yet help me. I just feel like, am I being too tough? Am I being too rigid?
No. I really understand the whole phone thing. You go for a day with somebody, let's go to farmer's market. You really don't want them on the phone texting with somebody. Right. So, but I think you need to limit that restriction so that if you walk up to them and say, hey, we have an hour together, let's go for a walk and let's make it a no phone zone. Yeah. Right. And so that walk is a no phone zone. Let's put our phones in our pocket. We only answer for emergency.
Well, I kind of do. And I think he's a bit addicted to it. I think that's what I said.
Everybody is addicted to it right now. It's an addiction. And I mean, I'm not kidding. It's a big addiction. And probably part of your reaction that's so strongly is because your partner was probably texting his connections for his drugs, right? Yeah. So, you have that whole feel to it. And that's about betrayal. When someone's texting about drugs when they're with you, that becomes the lover rather than you. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff tied in there. But and the person's going to forget because our culture is phone obsessed. Yeah. And you're going to have to just really be patient and kind and understanding and say, hey, remember this was a no phone walk. Right. Can we put our phones away until the walk is over? Yeah. Or, hey, we're working in the garden together for an hour. Can we have a no phone hour? Yeah. And just, set the time limit so that he doesn't have to feel like every time you walk in the room, he's got to put his phone down.
That's what I'm scared of too. Because I think it's because my reaction is a triggered reaction where I bite, and I have to work on that because I don't want to be bitey. I don't want to feel myself. And then when he says, just calm. And I say, no, I don't want to calm. If you didn't start it, it's like, and it's the same thing every time. It's like,
yeah. So remember again, he's isolated out there with you, and all of his friends and his family are somewhere else. And that whole texting thing is a way of people staying interconnected. And so I get it. I mean, I totally understand it. I make a promise to myself when I walk the dogs not to talk on the phone.
Right.
I like to just walk the dogs when I'm walking the dogs and just be her. However, if my sister calls or my friend in Los Angeles calls or my friend in Ashland calls, I'll answer it and talk to them because we never connect up.
Right. Okay.
We can never find the time to connect up. And so even though it's my dog walking time, that hour where it's just me on the outside and my neighbors, I want to talk to a neighbor. And if I'm on the phone, I just have to go, I can't even connect with my environment.
Yeah.
So I do make that commitment to myself, but I'll break it for those guys.
Yeah, of course.
Break it for those guys. So I think you need to really rediscuss this and say, okay, is mealtime definitely, breakfast, lunches or dinners, whatever you're spending together, no phone zone.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, I'm because I do so many classes, I'm away, that's my point, I'm away 8 to 9 hours of the day. So I think you've got all day. That's what frustrates me.
Right, he has all day.
We're away. We're together. Let's hang out. Let's be together. We don't need external stuff unless, of course, I do get there's an important call, whatever. I get that. I'm not ever restricting that. But I do feel I'm also, I don't know. It's hard because I don't want to feel like I'm
trying to control everything.
Control it, yeah.
Right, but you are asking for him to be present. That's why I think you guys have to really discuss it. I think you should make a little sign that says no phone zone and flip it over and flip it back. I'm out of my class right now. I'm going in the house. Let's flip over the no phone zone. Come and have a cup of tea with me without your phone.
Yeah.
And he'll say, oh, I can't right now because I'm waiting for Benny to call me back about the well or whatever, So maybe just having that sign will start to train you.
And is that how you work a compromise? Is that like a compromise, or is that?
It is a compromise, but it's also a communication. It is a communication. It's a communication about, lifestyle, bringing two people together, understanding how our lives are interconnected, and we have to retrain ourselves to be present. We have to. I mean, it's happened in my relationship as well. We have no phone at the table, and yet the other day all three of us had our phones out, and we went, what is that? And and it was all legit. He had work, he had an appointment, and I had a client calling me. We all had it, but I'm like, crap, can we just text and say, I'll get back to you in 30 minutes?
Exactly. Remember when we didn't, and all of us we grew up without it. Like when we didn't have, the answering machine would go on when we were together. Like, and that's what I don't understand is like, okay, if it was some younger who just, that's all they know, it's much harder. But when we've been for years and years and years before this happened, why is it so impossible just to remember that, and how the quality time we had together?
Right. I think that this is, instead of calling this a compromise, I would say this is communication. This is an important communication. And I think most compromise requires communication in order for everybody to feel that they've been seen and heard. We all need to be seen and heard right now. You've got to communicate and set up something that's going to work for the two of you. We got to respect the fact that his friends and family are far away, and that this has been his lifestyle for how long now, and that now he has a new person in his life, and he has to make allowances for that. And you have to, you guys both have to make allowances, but you can set a time frame. And I really like the sign idea because it just is a visual. You can even stay calm above it. It's a phone zone. So you remember not to get so punishing with your response to it.
I think that's what makes me feel like when I hear myself react from my trigger, I feel like that controlling. And I don't want this to be controlling, because I feel like, oh my God, am I a control freak now? And is this an abusive relationship? Am I feeling like I'm abusive because I'm saying no? But I don't want that to be, because that's not my goal. I just want us to be present together. But the reaction creates a fight because my reaction is so harsh still. Do you know what I mean? And that makes the situation like it's controlling. Right. And it's not. And so, oh God, it's challenging.
I'll tell you, as the youngest child in my family, they used to like to tease me. Everybody liked to tease me. Oh, like that we'd all be painting and I would be doing something funny with it. And they'd be like, oh, look at Darcy. She's used her hands, and it was, tinged with criticism. Right. And then that perspective followed my family through into adulthood. And when my family members would hang out with my friends, oftentimes my friends would adopt that joke style with me. So, I used to have very black eyes. And they used to tease me that when I would get angry, my black eyes would look like they were smoking. Smoke was coming out of them. Like, oh, the smoke is coming out. They used to say, oh, don't stare into her eyes, you'll fall into her black pits.
Oh, gosh.
You're falling into her black pits. And then also that sense of humor is a stand-up comedy sense of humor, of making fun of the self and others. And so I had some friends that used to tease me about everything. Oh, look, she's putting fruit in the food again. I love to cook with fruit. I cook meat with fruit. I cook salads with fruit. I put fruit in everything. I made apricot chicken the other night. I put grapes and tomatoes in my salad. And I remind them, tomatoes are a fruit, just so you know. But, joking about my choices or my lifestyle, I finally had to say to my friends and my family members that it's not okay.
Yeah.
It took me until I was an adult, and I said, I know you're being funny, quote unquote, and this is just a joke, but I really don't like it, and I want everybody to stop. And so if you want to make a joke about my eyes or my intensity, or my choice of clothing or what I'm cooking, you know.
Bless you. So many things.
Yeah, I mean, it was all big, ha ha, Darcy, ha 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 ha. And it was all coming from very various craziest points of view. But the fact is I was surrounded by it, and one person would inspire the other to continue with it. Like a boyfriend would pick up on my friend's little joking. I mean, like if you and I have a joke about, it's so hard in the morning because I have all these things, so I have a tendency to run late. And, she's late again. She's late again. So if the boyfriend picks up on, oh, here she comes, she's late again, right? That kind of thing. It becomes hurtful. And my boundary is, if you want to comment on me being late, then that's a private issue between you and I. That's not joke zone. That's
well, I'm
not
sorry that earlier too. Huh? I'm sorry that I joked that you were actually early before.
Oh no, that's between you and I. One of the things I said to my friend, and this is really funny, she's late all the time. And it drives her husband crazy. But when I am late, she's very admonishing. And she starts out by joking. And I tell her, look, I have a child and 2 dogs that need medicine, and everything happens on a specific schedule, but the child, it's its own schedule. And I said, and if you want me to pack everything up and be on your schedule, you're going to have to be flexible, because it's just unreasonable for, people judge from their own place. She was not a mother. She did not have pets. She had a husband who decided what the schedule was. And then suddenly who's running around with the kid, having to drive a half an hour to her place, plus I had to take care of this and that, it was unreasonable. But people don't see it that way. They only see it from their own perspective. So my compromise with her was that, yeah, I'll try to do better. I'll text you if I'm running late. Please don't make fun of me. I have a lot more things to consider than you do, right? And it's like, don't make me the joke. And so that took me a long time to learn how to tell people that's in my boundary place. That's not okay.
So compromise really is about just communicating about your boundaries. And how to work around, how you can both work within your boundaries.
Yeah.
So you don't have to give up anything, really. No. So long as you work out, you can still hold your boundaries and work out, as you said, if scheduled time, or the flipping the phone, phone zone, or your friend, saying, I'll text if I'm late, or all this sort of thing. But she now knows too why you're late. So you communicated that. So when when there is a struggle, she will remember that. But so long as you stick to the compromise of keeping in touch with her. So
she may or she may not remember that.
True.
But at least I can say, remember our conversation about this?
True.
And so that's the thing, is now you can say, remember our conversation about this? This is why I flipped over the no phone zone sign, because I'd really like all of your attention at this moment.
Yeah. And it's up to me to work on my trigger reaction to make sure it then doesn't come across like I am controlling. Because if I say it from a place of love and say, babe, I just want to hang out with you. This is our time. Remember, do the new phone zone, and make some light and love out of it. That takes away all the controlling of, put your phone down, we're together, which is just not about him at all, bless him, but about my, of the destruction and the horrible thing, what was going on in my past, which was so traumatic, So interesting, very, very interesting. I like it. I like that I feel more empowered now, because I don't feel like I'm controlling, but I know that it comes from communication. I don't have to give up my boundary, and he doesn't have to either.
Right. Yeah. Neither of you have to give up your boundary. If he says, look, I've got work coming to me for the next.
Sweet. Yeah, I'd be so happy to go. Just tell me. Exactly. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
2 cents worth of fantasticness.
Fantasticness.
Darcy, do you have a card we can pull today?
What do we pull the card about? What would you like to ask? What it's where is the moon today?
We're coming to the lunar eclipse, full moon, in a week. So we're halfway. I know, and isn't that amazing? We just had solar eclipse on the new moon. Now we have a lunar eclipse on the full moon. Isn't that incredible? I think it's the first time in like, I don't know, 20 centuries or something that's happened. The solar and the lunar eclipse on the new moon, isn't that? And we're right in the middle of it now. So the energy is like, whoa, so feel it. I feel it. I feel it.
So what would you like to ask about? Would you just like to see what are the energies surrounding us right now?
Yeah, I think a generalized one would be nice. What are the energies surrounding us? How do we, just give us some input. What cards are we using today, Darcy?
Oh, we are using the Psychic Tarot deck.
Oh, good. I like
John
this.
John Holland's deck. All right, so we just want to know, like, what is the energy that we are dealing? What insight can we get on the energies that are surrounding us right now? Where would be a good place to put our attention so we can focus our intention? We would like to focus our intention. So where do we want to place our attention? Okay. So here's the card that fell out today. It makes perfect sense, of course.
Of course.
It's called the awareness card.
Okay. Fantastic. God, I love it. And we're in the third eye. Ding, 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 ding.
Awareness. So now I got to find where is awareness. That's really funny. Where is my awareness card?
I'm in training right now for breath work with clarity breath work, and we're at level 2. We just have 9 days, and we did 6th day yesterday, and it was about mother and father relationships. And oh my God, it was so intense, especially with the dad. I didn't realize my issue with my dad until yesterday, and it's hard to talk negatively about them. You know what I mean? It's like, I bet it's not the negative, it's the truth. Like, so I had to realize it's a story, but the awareness that came from just going through the process of understanding the relationship I had as an adult, looking back as a child, having that awareness brings so much more awareness within of why I treat men like I do, or what fears I have with men. It's amazing. Anyway, so that's why
all those things about parenthood, you do your best.
Yes.
And it's also about culture and the era that you're in with the people, and all those things have all that influence.
And they're just humans. They're just like I sort of put my dad on a bit of a pedestal, because I felt guilty about a lot of things I did. And yesterday I got to remind myself he's just a freaking human, and he's just a good old man just trying to do his best for what he knew and how he knew how to cope. God bless his soul. And so I put him off.
He was taught, and how he was taught.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, so this awareness card, number 1. It's number 1.
Wow. Woo!
This card is one of the key reminders that you already possess all of the tools to guide and direct your life. Whether it's wisdom, intuition, psychic skill, creativity, self-motivation, love, willpower, physical ability, or pure courage. They are all a part of you.
Wow.
Once you learn to tap into and use them, you will be amazed by the power and the effect they can have. You have the ability to allow the universe to work in partnership with you. That's really important for us to remember. You have the ability to allow the universe to work in partnership with you. Yeah. We can work in partnership. Together, you can manifest change, whatever the desire may be, and bring about a positive outcome. I have something to say on that, just a little bit. Together, you can manifest change, whatever the desire may be, and bring about a positive outcome. This card represents your ability to create your own reality, to set ideas into motion and watch them grow. This card is often drawn when you are ready to switch direction, start a new project, or change careers. Now is the time to use positive thoughts, visualizations, and affirmations as you veer away from negativity. Knowledge is power and can lead to success. By having faith, keeping your willpower strong and directed, and by tapping into the tools that you possess, as well as calling on the magic from the universe, you can accomplish anything and everything you set out to do. The traditional archetype of this awareness card is the magician.
Of
Okay.
course.
So
Beautiful.
I just want to say something about this. So some people say, I don't understand how to manifest and deal with the energies and all that kind of stuff. And so there's an old saying that I've just resurfaced, and this is it. Prayer is when you are talking to the universe, God, whoever you pray to. That's you talking. You saying, this is what I need, or thank you. That's you putting it out to the universe or God. Meditation is you listening to the reply. So to really understand that, if you really want to get clear, sure, first do your prayers, your thank yous, set your desires and your intention, and then do your meditation where you quiet your thoughts so you can receive the energy, the ideas, and the inspiration that you've just requested.
True. I love it.
And that's how you do it.
Then dreams come true. They do come true. Darcy, thank you again for showing up again. You're fantastic. Thank you for your input. It's priceless, and everyone I know gets a buzz out of it, something from it at least. Thank you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
Thanks,
Bye,
Jemima.
Thank you, love.